Hello, you beautiful Life Path 4 person. Welcome to your 2025 overview. So, this is your life sector overview. We're going to look at all the different areas of life first, see how they're interacting with your life path number, and then we're going to get into your 12-month breakdown. Before we start, I would like to bless my decks of the session itself with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, this year, if you are a life path 4, you get to do and be all of the things that you love, right? No one's trying to force you into a box right? And I really feel that this is going to be you taking stock of your life and asking yourself what you want to release simply because you have the chance and the choice. In general, this year is really going to allow you to follow your own path and really to keep it structured and organized and routine in the way that you love and the way that you like. There is going to be a softer edge to you this year, and I don't want you to be alarmed when it emerges. Just go with it. And I think a big part of the reason for this is you're not only going to be feeling more like yourself, but you're not going to have a lot of people or the energy of the year trying to tell you to be something that you're not. This is where you kind of really get to lean into who you are. Now, in terms of your love life, this year, I'm just going to tell you straight up, is going to test your relationships, right? They will either need to adapt or evolve, or they will potentially perish. This is, and obviously, when I say that, that's all there as well. And maybe it can be like sound scary, but I promise you, this is actually advancing you in some way. If you can find a way to let the people like the people that you are in love with, and allow yourself the same breathing space and grace, but also understand that ruts, fixed routines are now being washed away, you are going to be fine. Make new traditions with your partner. If you are single, then this is the time for you to look at your relationship habits and patterns, to really pay attention to what you do continuously in that sector of your life and why you are having the results that you're having, right? Also, the connections that are no good for you, and this is where you get to really find the courage and the strength to let them go, making space this year for all the people and the things and the connections that you do want. Now, when it comes to your finances, I actually love this year for your resources and your finances, especially if you are willing to dig in and do all of all of the usual unsexy stuff that you love so much, the budgeting, speaking to a financial advisor, all of that jazz. Now, this is a really good year to build a small new income stream and nurture it until it grows, right? So this is starting something small and just slowly but surely pecking away at it. It's also a year for you to let go of and release any waste of resources. So, your wife and your kids or your husband don't count. That being said, this is all good energy. This is a great year for you to get organized about what expenditures really provide you with and what they don't. Is it delivering me value or is it just a cost? When it comes to your work and career this year, work could be an interesting arena for you, especially because it looks like this year you're going to begin to phase out some of the things that you've done before, whether this is duties, whether it's a job altogether. And the magic of this year lies in creating new routines around your work, taking on new responsibilities and being proactive about releasing and letting go of the things that you really aren't sort of interested in. And this might be that you go to the boss and say, you've been asking me to do this, and it just doesn't work for me, right? Like this could be very good for you in some regard. For your health and vitality over the course of this year, health wise, this is a year to really work on building your body, doing weights, doing yoga, doing calisthenics, all of these things that are hard, slow and steady, right? These are all the best places that you can put your energies when it comes to your physical body and your health. Your usual slow and steady wins the race is best approach this year, especially when it comes to things like health and resources as well. As is working on building and enhancing the structure of your body. This is a really good time to invest in a chiropractor, an osteopath, or even an acupuncturist as well. Slow, steady, powerful yet gentle approaches to your health this week are really what's going to win the day, as well as a diet that is regular, right? And what I mean by this is that, you have regular meal times. You're not just, grabbing something on the go constantly. The more order you can bring to your life habits, patterns, and routines, the better your health will be over the course of this year. With that said, stay tuned while we get into your 12-month breakdown. Hello, you wonderful Life Path 4 person. Welcome to your 2025 12-month tarot breakdown. So let's get straight into it. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So you're going to get one destiny card, one direction card for each month of the year. The first card out kind of typifies the year that you're going to have. So I just want to say I love that you guys come back to these every month and let me know how this is unfolding for you, what new things are taking place. I love, some people come back every 3 months, some people come back every 6 months. It just kind of depends which way you're working with or towards it. Either which way, thank you so much. So your first card out for 2025 is the Lovers card, right? So the Lovers, ultimately, we have hundreds, if not thousands of decisions a day, apparently, according to science. But this is really going to be a year of big decisions, big choices, big options are on the table for you over the course of this year. And if you've been with me long enough, or you've been listening to anything that I've talked about on my channel, I am calling 2025 the reboot of humanity. This is where we're going to basically switch it off and switch it back on again. So in some way, shape or form, this year we're all behaving more or acting more like ourselves. We feel much more like ourselves, and I think this is a really good thing. The fact that you've got the Lovers card as your first card out means that this year is really focused on making some big decisions, big consequential choices that are going to be a huge deal as to what you are doing over the course of this year. Now, with the Lovers card, it is choosing between this and that. This is where you have to make a really heartfelt decision over which way you're going to go. What is going to be important for you? What are you deciding is going to really carry forward in your life and what you aren't, right? Remember, whenever you're talking about making a choice, when you choose this option, the other option or the other options available to you have to go away, right? So it's it's going to be a big consequential year for you guys, I think. Now, the other thing with the Lovers card is it does represent love, relationship, partnership. So if you are single this year, the chances are you don't finish the year that way. If you are partnered, married, or in a long-term commitment, maybe this is where you're putting a lot more of your focus over the course of 2025. Straight out of the gate, there is a big decision to make. Will you stay? Will you go? Will you choose this thing? Will you choose this person? Whatever it is, there is a decision for you to make. So let's have a look and see what the year has in store for you. All right, so for January, you have the Two of Swords. Wow. Okay. So the Two of Swords is also a card of choices and decisions, but it's about taking your feelings out of the equation, right? So January, straight out the gate, as we come into 2025, you're making a decision, but you're being, well, it kind of looks like you're having to put your heart to the side and make a decision based on the facts. And this is really the best way for you to go. Even if this really comes down to an actual relationship this year, your best way forward, your best chance for happiness and success to move forward from here is by taking your emotions out of the equation. This is about really trusting your thoughts, trusting the facts. I will also say, If you have any form of if you've been waiting for a decision, or if you've been sort of in a situation that some feels kind of like you're at somebody else's mercy, if you're feeling like you've needed some kind of justice, you will get that justice this year, and it will probably be right at the start of the year, and that may very well be what flavors all of your decisions from here on in. Now, as we come into February, we are going to have Mars retrograde. Jupiter ends its retrograde on the 4th of February. Mars ends its retrograde on the 24th of February. Now, that means that this is going to be a slower start to the year. So when you're making these firm decisions or this big choice in the month of January, straight out of the gate, take your time. All right, take your time with it. Now, the fact that we have these two planets retrograde, they are going direct, but we won't have that full energy until the end of the month. I will say, for this reason, take your time and don't get used to it, and you'll see why in just a moment. Now, for February, you have the Wheel of Fortune. A change in your luck, a change in your circumstances, things moving forward for the better is what shows up for you in February. So I love that. It's really interesting as well because the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter, and obviously Jupiter goes direct on the 4th of the month. To couple this, you've got the Ace of Swords, right? So this is very interesting because the Ace of Swords will usually show up as either an important piece of paper, like an important document, but very often it shows up for things like interviews. It can be, invites, but it's usually like the letter that you get to say, we are formally offering you this job. If you've applied to do some kind of study, this could be where you get the good news. If you've applied to do some kind of gap year or study abroad, February looks absolutely fantastic for you, right? The other thing is, with your Ace of Swords, this can be where we are having to, both of these months are very much about choices and decisions, right? Because the Ace of Swords is where we choose between this and that, and we get rid of what is superfluous to us in some way, shape or form. Now, as we come into March, packed astrological month. This is huge. On the 14th of March, we've got the full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. On the 29th of March, we've got the last new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Aries. As if that wasn't enough, we've got Venus going retrograde on the 2nd of the month. We've got Mercury going retrograde on I think it's like between the 7th and the 10th of March, and both of these planets will retrograde in the sign of Aries and return back into the sign of Pisces. As if that wasn't enough, we've got Neptune moving out of the sign of Pisces and into the sign of Aries. This is a big deal. This is a once in a lifetime transit. We will only see this transit moving through Aries once in our lives because it takes so long to travel the zodiac. It's only dipping its toes. And this is one of the reasons that I'm calling 2025 the reboot. It's like when we switch it off and we switch it back on again. Because Neptune, Saturn and Uranus are all moving signs. These are big, heavy hitting, big boy planets, right? That are doing big things in the sky. And with this, we're going to get that we're getting a taster of what 2026 and beyond actually looks like, but we're getting sort of a preview about it now. So if you want to find out how all of this speaks to your sign, your sun, moon or ascendant, or you want to share this with family, you can get your yearly Astro-Tarot reads on the link in the description box below. You can buy one, you can buy two, you can buy three, or you can buy the bundle. It's completely up to you. Bundle really is the best value for money because you've then got all 12 of them and you can help all of your family and friends out with them. With that said, March, you have the Chariot card. So this is going to be a dynamic month for you. This is going to be a month that is fast and furious. It's going to be a month that really has a lot of power to it and behind it. You may even find as well that whatever, especially if there are legal considerations or contractual matters that are in constant negotiations back and forth in this month, the chances are you find yourself having, things really coming good or around or in your favour as we come into March. To clarify on this, you've got the Hanged Man. This is, you see these two together, it's kind of like driving with the brakes on. right? Like there's this stop-start sort of motion. And this is why I said to you, right, don't get used to this direct motion energy that's coming in February. Because as we step into March, Venus and Mercury are going to take over. So it's not really until we get until it's like the 15th of April onwards, that's when all the planets are direct and we can breathe a collective sigh of relief. Now, the Hanged Man energy is about going inward. It's reassessment, reevaluation. For some of you, this might be a reassessment and reevaluation about your personal chariot. So your car, your motorbike, anything that you've got that's transport sort of base that takes you from A to B. This might be a time where you're actually having to reconsider this at this time. I will also say, because the Chariot is Cancer and the Hanged Man is Neptune, that's a lot of water. So March has the potential to be a very emotional month for you, potentially a very sort of up and down kind of energy when it comes to the emotions in March. If that is the case, I just want to invite you to take a little bit more time for yourself at this moment, all right? Now, when it comes to April, Mercury and Venus will go direct. Both of them will be direct by the time we get to the 13th, but you want to wait until the 15th onwards, because then at that point everything is actually direct and out of that station direct energy. Now, as we come into this, you've got the Sun card, light, heat, blessings and joy. So the first quarter of the year, it's not a bad first quarter, it's just a little bit more up and down than we would like. It's quite sort of topsy-turvy. This is a change point, right? The Sun card basically says that this quarter onwards is going to probably be a little bit nicer. The fact that you've got the Sun card is light, heat, blessings, joy. Remember, the Sun brings power to everything that it touches and it illuminates things. So this weakens or diminishes your challenges and it enhances your blessings in some way. To clarify on this, you've got the Three of Wands. April is a travel month. I would not be surprised if a lot of you are traveling, especially internationally traveling at this time. The Three of Wands is a very lucky card. If you are thinking about taking a business journey, if you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur or anything like this, think outside the box, because April has the potential to really catapult you forward. This is a lucky break of some sort. The Three of Wands has a very lucky energy about it. It's very expansive. You've got this coupled with the Sun card. This is like whatever you put out into the world, the boat goes far, right? And so this is why I say to you, if you can wait until the 15th onwards, whatever you put out into the world, it has the potential to really go out into the world. April looks like a stellar month for you. I actually really like February as well, to be completely honest with you. Now, as we come into May, Saturn is going to move into the sign of Aries. Now, that's a 3-year transit. Neptune into Aries is a 14-year transit, but it doesn't truly fully begin until 2026. Saturn is a 3-year transit, but that won't fully begin until 2026. So do you see what I mean? It's like these big boy planets, they go into Aries, they dip in and they come back out. That's why I'm calling this like the reboot of humanity. It's like we're switching it off, switch it back on again. Hopefully that does the job. So May, interesting month. For this, you've got the Moon card. So the past is alive and kicking in some way, shape or form. This is, and it's also as well, May might be a month where you're a lot more focused on your instinctual ideas and the way that you do things. Now, to clarify on this, you've got the Knight of Wands. If you're traveling in April, I will say, and you've got plans to come back in May, if you have travel plans in May, wherever you're traveling in May, the chances are this is somewhere that you've already been before. It's not a new place to you. This is somewhere that you've been before, maybe somewhere that you've lived before, maybe it's somewhere that you have given, oh God, what's the word that I'm thinking of? Like maybe somewhere that you volunteered. Either which way, it's not a place that's sort of brand new to you in some regard. May will see you very eager to prove your worth in some way. And there's an example that I've got in my mind that I'm thinking of with this combination. For some of you, this might be a return to a skill or a way of doing something that maybe you don't do anymore. So I've got a friend who she runs her own recruitment business. And before she set up her own business, she reached quite a high level management. And one day her team were just like really dragging their heels, like, oh, I'm not making any placements. And she was like, listen. And so somebody, I can't remember, one of the employees said to her, oh, well, you're a manager now, you don't remember what it's like. So she got all of the phones in the middle. She sat down with them. She hit the phones, she hit the emails, and she absolutely went in there, hammered it, smashed out 3 placements in the space of just under 4 hours. And they were all like, so there's a chance here that in May, it's like you're going back to something that you're picking back up. And people are like, oh, well, you don't remember what it's like. You're doing this now. And you step back into this and you just absolutely fucking smash it. And everyone's like, damn, like, still got it. All right. Jupiter is coming into the sign of Cancer on I think it's like the 9th or the 10th of June. Jupiter comes into the sign of its exaltation. This is where Jupiter does the best work that it can do. This is a big deal for all of us because this is once in a 12-year transit. So this is, blessings on blessings for all of us in some area of our life. If you want to know where this speaks to you or what area of your chart this is going to highlight, whether this is for your sun, your moon, or your ascendant, there's a link in the description box below. Get your yearly Astro-Tarot videos, go and check them out. There's all kinds of goodies in there. You got PDFs, you got videos, you got just the works, right? So as we come into June, you have the Justice card. This is a contractual matter. The Justice card has been very active for May and June. And I think this actually says that on the wider world stage, we're going to see a very big or very large court case of some sort that's very much in the public eye. Now, for this, you have the Ten of Swords. So this is the end of a contract for you, right? This is you breaking out of a contract. This might actually be a good thing. Maybe, this could be the final payment on a loan, and so that breaks a contract. This could be maybe you decide to leave a job, that breaks a contract. It could be anything up to and including a marriage coming to an end. It doesn't have to mean that, but there's various different ways that a contract, the Justice card, can come to an end, the Ten of Swords. So there is an ending, a completion, or a culmination here. It's not quite the Death card, but it is the breaking or the ending of a contract of some kind. So as we come into July, Mercury is going to go retrograde in the sign of Leo. It stays in that sign. Uranus, once in a lifetime, maybe twice, give or take your age, once or twice in a lifetime, you'll see this transit moving through the sign of Gemini. This is huge. This is a huge deal, right? This is another part of this reboot of humanity energy. And July is a big month, right? July is a very big month because of this. And this happens I think it's like the 7th of July. Again, if you want to know how that speaks to your sign, you know what to do. For this, you have the Hermit card. So it looks like you're taking it easy through this transit, right? Like you're really taking stock of your inner wisdom, potentially stepping away from the wider world stage or the public eye at this time. Now, to clarify on this, you've got the Five of Cups. So this is because the Hermit card tends to represent our elders. When I say our elders, this is like grandparents, great aunt, somebody that tends to be sort of what we would consider an elder of the family. I'm really sorry to say this, and I touch wood, but I don't shy away from the hard stuff. It's possible that July could see the passing of an elderly person in your family or in your life. I hope I'm wrong on that front, but it is a possibility with this combination of cards. I've been doing this now professionally for almost a decade, right? That's without all of the time that I've been doing this prior to then, maybe not as good as I've done it professionally, but still doing it. I know what I see when I see certain combinations. This has the potential to be that. It's not a guarantee, but I do want you to be aware and prepared for the fact that it's possible. Okay, now as we come into August, you've got the Star card. This is a time of healing. It's a time of, I can't say relaxation so much, but the Star card is hope for the future. It's relaxation, or it's the calm after the storm, right? After we've had the challenge, the Star card shows up to say, not only did you survive that, but you're coming through it and you're going to thrive. The Star card can also be about a glimpse into the future, where you get just a little taster of what's to come. And that's what 2025 is on a grand scale. We get a taste of where all of this is going for all of us in some regard. To clarify on this, you've got the King of Cups. How you are integrating technology, AI, all kinds of technological energies into your work will become day to day at this point. Now, the King of Cups is usually a water sign male, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This might be somebody who is very far outside of the box, maybe somebody that's a bit zany, a bit Uranian, maybe an Aquarian person who is, very feeling, or maybe a very feeling person who has a very Aquarian nature. At this time, I will say your intuitive sort of imaginings or ideas, etc., will be speaking quite loud. And it's important to pay attention to your daydreams at this time. I will say as well, with this, August could be a time where you're getting lots of information, lots of downloads. They're coming thick and fast. And I will say with this, write them down, right? Write them down, voice note them on your phone, because when you don't, especially because Uranus is in Gemini at this point, as quickly as the idea comes is as quickly as it will disappear, right? And don't tell yourself that you will remember it, because I can assure you, you won't. Trust me, I know. I've had this happen to me so many times. So as we come into September, we've got the second eclipse cycle of the year. On the 7th of September, we've got the full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. On the 21st of September, we've got the new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. If you want to find out how that speaks to your sign, you know what to do. All right, so for September, you have the Magician card, right? Your personal power in September is going to be palpable. It's going to be at an all-time high. Remember, with the Magician card as well, this basically says you have the power to affect the kind of change that you want in your life. To clarify on this, you've got the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is an offer, right? It's usually a solid offer at that. But because it comes with the Magician card, this could be anything from a promotion right through to an opportunity from what seems like a very unlikely source, where somebody says to you, you know what, I really believe in your talent. Are you interested in doing this? It could be an artistic or a creative endeavor. This could also be a chance for you to sell your commercial activities. If you've got your own business, this could be phenomenal for sales. So if you have your own business, this is where the influencers shout you out on TikTok or Instagram. If you work for somebody else, this is where your boss's boss comes in one day, observes the office and says to them, we need to promote this person because they're absolutely shit hot at their job, right? There's some kind of recognition from a big wig figure, right? Or maybe you gain a big client or something along those lines. Either which way, this is a solid offer that has the potential to really skyrocket your progress or your life in some way. And it also says that you have the power to affect change, and whatever you're bringing to the world, whether this is in a job setting, a relationship setting, a partnership setting, in your academics, whatever the case might be, you have to believe that what you are bringing really is A grade, right? Because it absolutely is. October, you have the Judgment card. This is a big change point, end of an era kind of stuff, really. And to couple that, you've got the Three of Cups. So the Judgment card is what I call the blast from the past. And it tends to bring people, things, or situations from our deep past, 15 plus years ago, back into the present in some regard. You add to this then the Three of Cups. That's a reunion of epic proportions. It's the friend that you haven't seen since you moved away from that street when you were 5 years old. It's the ex that you haven't seen since you left college. It's the, I don't know, best friend that you had at school that you haven't spoken to in 10 plus. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is somebody from your past that comes back into your present that makes a really big like impact, where you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you for the longest time. Like, it's so crazy that we're catching up right now. Love this. Right now, as we come into November, we've got the third and final Mercury retrograde of the year. This is Mercury retrograding in the sign of Sagittarius and coming back into the sign of Scorpio. You've got the Tree of Life. Across all of my decks, this is my favorite card because it represents divine intervention and assistance. So I love this. Sometimes divine intervention and assistance looks like us not getting what we want because there's something better waiting for us. Sometimes it looks like a delay in the progress or the process of what we're trying to do or to, snag in our lives in some way, shape or form. So big stuff, big stuff. To clarify on this, you have the 10 of Cups. So here's where this gets really interesting. This card is a number 10. And then you have the 10 of Cups. You've got two 10s here. Two 10s represents change. And it's usually a big change at that. This could be a change of location. This could be a change of home. It could be a change of job. It could be a change of living situation, which I mentioned. Because the 10 of Cups is the home. Right, it's the living situation, but it's also, the Ten of Cups is one of the best cards in the deck. This is ultimate blessings. This is some kind of universally gifted or blessed sort of gift. Something, this is like a peak experience. Out of this entire year, I would say this even trumps April. And April is pretty damn good, right? The 10 of Cups is abundance that's so abundant that you're able to share it with the people that you love most. And the Tree of Life card is divine intervention and assistance. What you need shows up for you just as you need it. What you want shows up for you, but it maybe shows up in a way that's even better than what you asked for. I guess the message really here is leave room for magic. As we come into December, you have the Empress, enjoying the fruits of your labor, having the best experiences that you can. Whatever November brings you, you're really enjoying it full force in December. And you've got this with the Temperance card. Temperance card has been quite active for December, which does make me wonder what's happening within the healthcare industry over the course of this year, and especially as we get into the end of the year. Now, the Empress is, it's beautifying things, it's hospitality, and you've got this with the Temperance card, so there might be you interacting with that sector in some way, shape or form. Now, your challenge months and your power months, I think May is a challenge month, June is a challenge month, July is a challenge month. I think January and February are neutral. I think March is a challenge month. March, potentially May, June and July, these are your challenge months. Your power months, April, absolute power month. I really like August, but I think it's neutral. September, October, November, I think are power months. April, September through December, I would call power months. So you have a really pretty decent year coming through this year. And then finally, your key to the year from the Human Design Oracle deck, one final message from the universe to give you a little bit of a nudge in a specific direction. And this year you have the Gate 41 and Fantasy. And this is really about daring to dream big. It's about, saying to yourself, you know what, if I'm going to have the dream, why not have the actual dream that I want? Not the censored or the watered down or the edited version because that's greedy or whatever the case might be. If you're going to go for what you truly want, If you're going to have the best experience that is available to you, why not have the best experience, right? Build that picture of what the ultimate fantasy is to you in your mind and allow yourself to dare to dream big. That's what this year can really bring you. Check in month by month, every 3 months, every 6 months, completely up to you. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic year. Take care, and I'll see you soon.